You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 203. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnhart, the man in a doomsday mask.
Oh,
Yeah, you didn't know.
I didn't. Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhousers. You can find our show and articles about things, comic booky things, at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, the first book we're going to talk about today is World's Finest number 247, which is the October and November of 1977 issue. And the lead story is called The Last Hurrah for Superman, written by Bob Haney, penciled by Kurt Schaffenberger, and inked by Tex Blaisdell. Now, this is the second part of a two-parter, which we began last week, where Superman had this evil twin brother that was trapped in an asteroid, and like the first 6 pages of this story recap the thing. Like, you didn't need to read the other one at all.
No, and I had read this one a while back because the cover had all these people dressed as Superman goose-stepping and...
Yeah, Zeke Highlight. And Superman's like giving the highlights at the podium and stuff.
I thought, man, that's cool. And...
How far back are we talking?
When I got into Superman, when I got into the Silver Age Superman back in the late 80s is when I got it. So, great idea, just lousy execution.
Yeah, I mean, if this story had happened, I mean, this is 1977. Mm-hmm. If this story had happened in 1967, it'd be great. Under the direction of Mort Weisinger, Superman is just at his greatest.
Right. Or it could happen in 97, and maybe...
No, I think... but the 70s is a bad decade for DC, and Superman suffers, I think, more than anybody at that time, which is sad.
Yeah, that's a great idea. There's a lot of things wrong. The bad Superman's got a hunchback, so you can tell them apart.
Right.
Couldn't they make him blonde? I don't know. It's just... Or... I don't know. All right. Superman was incapacitated. He's fixed together by this space guy who's a bum.
Yeah.
A thief, and,
but anyway, Superman's evil twin is a fascist, and he's taking over the world.
Right.
And the Justice League.
Trying to. I mean, he's taking over America.
No, he's taking over the world.
No. Very end, he goes to UN. That's where the last battle.
All right.
Batman is set upon by bad Superman's goons.
I think it's hilarious to see Batman in his costume, but also wearing a hat and a trench coat.
He's in costume. Yeah. And so, wouldn't have been easier just to go
take off the costume? Yeah. Yeah.
And he's about to give up, so they might as well shoot me because no one can defeat Superman.
I love it. Batman's so destitute. I'm like, or not destitute. What's the word?
Depressed.
It's not the word I'm looking for, but we'll go with that for now. Despondent.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, he knows a bunch of other superheroes, and you tell me.
I love how the Justice League are basically standing idly by because they don't want to turn the Earth into a battlefield. It's like, you fought supervillains before.
Right. And
like, duh.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the story. There's got to be so many things they do to make it work. It makes it clunky.
Well, and it's Superman and Batman must solve this problem without somebody else, which is ridiculous when you live in a world populated by many other superpowered folks. Mm-hmm. They would get involved.
They could get super villains involved, and they'll help out. Lex Luthor would have helped out.
Yeah, to save the world that he wants to rule.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Not the Joker.
The Joker would have done just for a laugh. So. Okay. So, huge fight. Superman comes back, and he's kind of weak, and he gets his butt kicked. The bad Superman takes a Washington Monument, turns it upside down, and drives on top of Superman.
And pile drives him into the Earth.
Yeah.
Which...
Almost to the center of the Earth. So,
yeah.
Man. And he knocks Superman for a loop. So Superman grabs hold of the Capitol building and to steady himself and twirls around a bit. Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right, and yeah, Superman is knocked into Abraham Lincoln's lap. So,
so anyway, the big brother, the evil Superman.
yeah, he captures Superman.
Uh-huh.
But so Batman says, "Hey, can I calls the evil Superman? Hey, can I visit him before you kill him?" So Superman is going to be in front of a firing line of all things, and he escapes.
What are they going to fire at him with?
He's weak, so he is apparently susceptible to bullets.
Did they expose him to Gold K or something?
I don't know, but it's really.
It wasn't Superman after all. It was the Atom who shrunk out of the Superman's costumes.
Right.
So Superman was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder what this ship is. Superman takes Batman to Fortress Solitude, and there's a ocean liner. Is that supposed to be the Titanic or something?
It might be.
So Superman is not super anymore, so he doesn't have to worry about kryptonite. So he makes his kryptonite paint. And they go to UN, and the bad Superman is awarded statues of his parents.
Jor-El and Lara.
Yeah. Because the bad Batman finds out that he's not related
to Superman.
Yeah, but they don't really explain how that happens.
Right.
And I don't know. So
the kryptonite paint or whatever that comes off of the statues reveals that it wasn't. Yeah, this guy wasn't a Kryptonian at all, but he was the parasite.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Well, that might have been. But the parasite believed he was Superman's brother
Because of weird psychosis or something.
Right.
I didn't. Yeah. The story just falls apart.
Too bad. Although it's funny that Superman was
in disguise at the UN wearing a turban and a beard.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh well. Okay. Batman beats up Mad Dog Doyle, who is the criminal from Central Casting.
Yeah. And then of course Superman beats up the parasite, and everybody goes home.
Right. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. All right. Hey, Black Canary.
Yeah. We've got a backup story with the Black Canary, and it's called Requiem of Rage, written by Jerry Conway, with art by Sal Amendola. And this is continuing the story arc with the werewolf and stuff.
What is up with Black Canary? Last time she was wearing lingerie talking to Green Arrow over the phone. Now she's getting out of her shower in a towel, which barely covers the good parts. And she gets into a fight with a werewolf, and the towel stays on. I mean, I can't brush my teeth without my towel falling or something. But then,
because you're not a superhero.
That's true.
So,
but Power Girl gets all the grief, and Black Canary doesn't get any grief. What's up with that?
I think because the objectification is so blatant and obvious with Power Girl, and Black Canary,
what are you talking about?
They don't play it up. Oh, right.
Okay. They're playing it up. Yeah.
They generally don't play it up with Black Canary. That's what I'm saying. So anyway.
All right. She's a Type R werewolf who turns out to be a good werewolf, and
who didn't want to fight at all.
Right. Oh, we have a Twinkie Lord. Have you seen this one, the Joker?
I mean, I've seen it, but
I have too. But it's really cool. The Joker it's fruit pie.
Yeah.
And the Joker pretends to be a clown in order to take it over. I guess a circus over, and he blows a poison dart into the Master's Ceremony. What's it called?
The Ringmaster.
Ringmaster. Okay. Sorry, that's a long night. But they knew that he wasn't a real clown because he wouldn't eat a fruit pie. So,
what?
Yeah.
Is that really the plot of this?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So the poison wasn't in there. The guy seems happy that he was stuck with a dart. I don't care if the dart had poison or not. I would not be happy. So,
Somebody hits you with a blow dart. It's a bad day.
yeah.
So anyway, back to Black Canary and her werewolfy problems. She puts some clothes on and decides to go solve a spooky mystery.
Yeah, and the werewolf is in the back of a motorcycle, and they don't get pulled over or something. Wouldn't that would make the news? Hey, a blonde lady in fishnet stockings with a werewolf. You know.
Okay.
All right. So the werewolf tells a story. His master, the only one he ever loved, was killed by this bad French guy.
Yeah.
And
this French guy who we're gonna see, he just goes in and out of French and English in his conversation like no one would ever do. It's really obnoxious, and it's really bad writing by Jerry Conway. Who I'm normally I'm super disappointed because I'm like, he's normally so good, but that's such terrible dialogue. Because okay, if you want to say someone is French Canadian, fine, but they wouldn't just weave in and out of French and English in their speech constantly.
Probably because he's never met a French Canadian.
Who knows? Yeah, but anyway.
So there's this island with a doctor on it. Well, I don't know if he's a doctor, but he's a scientist. So
a mad scientist.
Yeah,
he's really angry too.
All right.
So the Black Canary and the werewolf go there.
Yeah. Well, the werewolf is left behind. The Black Canary goes, and she gets her butt kicked after kicking some butt.
Yeah.
But she's captured. And here we meet. Oh, his name is Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
From the H.G. Wells novel. And the movie with
Wells.
H.G. Wells.
You said H.E.
Oh.
It sounds like H.E. the way you say it.
Oh, well, you heard wrong.
As the banjo starts to play, Jeff starts to speak.
I probably. You're probably right.
North Carolina, folks. So.
So it's Dr. Moreau. The movie came out. Who was in it? Burt Lancaster.
Burt Lancaster as Dr. Moreau, and Michael York as the sympathetic character.
Barbara Carrera.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Okay. But yes, there was a film adaptation of Dr. Moreau released about this same time. So of course, let's do a story about humanimals.
Yeah.
Which is what they refer to in the press releases for that movie.
Yeah.
I know because I read about it in Starlog. From that time period.
And here it's Any-Men. But it was a big deal when it came out.
Sure.
And it wasn't Jaws or Star Wars, but it was pretty big.
Well, it was 1978?
77.
77, yeah. And, science fiction and things were riding high at that time, so yeah.
Okay. So we get to the end of the story. Dr. Moreau is monologuing in French and English, and to a captured Black Canary.
And he is this huge, bulbous, portly man.
Oh, man, yeah.
He's just, ridiculously proportioned. It's I don't know how the guy could walk.
He makes the kingpin look thin.
Yeah. But he has a full head of hair, so he's got that going for him.
True. All right. So we stop with this story, and then
but it continues with the I think it's really neat how there been the side, concurrently running backup features with a Black Canary and Green Arrow solo, and then their stories converge in this issue. And so the Green Arrow part is called Isle of Hate, Island of Dread. And
is that Long Island?
Probably. But this was written by Jerry Conway with the art by Sal Amendola.
Yeah. All right. Green Arrow is fighting these guys, and do you like the arrows?
Sure.
Really? I always thought they're kind of cheesy.
You mean the trick arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
Well, do you like these? I
don't remember what trick arrows he uses in this.
The tri-clamp arrow, which turns into clamps that clamp onto the wall, but it clamps someone's wrist to the wall.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, I saw it at Kmart.
No, I mean,
I've
seen it a lot in comics, using that kind of thing. It pin them to the wall. Well, they're not going anywhere, and you've disarmed them. It's great.
Yeah, so utterly ridiculous, but it's I mean, to aim at that with 3 arrows at the same time.
But he's like the world's greatest archer. He's in the Justice League.
I don't care.
I can't believe you're hung up on this.
Well, I don't know. It hung me up. Okay. So he finds out that Black Canary, his sometime girlfriend, or
they fight a lot, but that's his girl.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Hey, there's a brief guest appearance by the Flash.
Yeah.
Because Green Arrow teleports up to the JLA satellite, which is located 22,300 miles above the Earth, and then teleports onto the island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
We see the Flash confused for like a couple panels.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
And he's like, wow, what a jerk. He doesn't even say hello.
Yeah. Which is funny.
Yeah. So he goes down to, I guess, British Columbia, right?
Sure.
And he meets the werewolf, and they talk. So the two of them go out, and they start fighting. And it's a pretty dang cool fight. Now,
yeah.
I'm not a huge Green Arrow fan, but this is well done. And so they get their butt kicked or something. Yeah, again. So, all right. Green Arrow and Black Canary are above a cauldron of bubbling acid or something. And the werewolf is chained down. This is a good one. There's bad ones. There's all kinds of. So, Dr. Moreau explains that he was irritated by the book, Dr. Moreau, so he wanted to do what they did in the book, so he makes Annie-men. And so that's it. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a comic book.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So he does.
So Green Arrow and Black Canary are trapped, and they're gonna die because Dr. Moreau sticks the good werewolf on them.
After he does this whammy jammy on him.
Yeah.
And which is one of those stupid things villains do.
Yeah.
And it messes things up. Which I guess is a good thing, because if they did, we'd be wearing single colored unitards and having to listen to lots of monologuing by our dictators and all that stuff.
Sure.
How stupid we are and all this. So I guess it's a good thing they're dumb. But the bad guys.
Okay. Yeah. I just kind of you just so lost me here. But
okay.
It's okay.
He did the thing about I want to have your best friend kill you. And,
right, and tell you all about it
Yeah.
instead of just killing you.
Right.
Right, and so of course he's got this animal person under his control, but his will is stronger, and so he releases Black Canary and Green Arrow predictably in a Republic serials fashion, and of course the place explodes into fiery stuff. Everybody dies except for the good guys.
Yeah, and they're all sad about the werewolf, and that's pretty good. Not a bad story. That's
fine. I mean, it's as cliche as it can get, but it's okay.
Okay.
So we get the next part of this backup series with the Vigilante. And let me give the notes here. This is called Death Maze, written by Bill Krunkel, with art again by the great Gray Morrow. And so Vidge was looking for the dummy who killed his sidekick Stuff, the Chinatown Kid. And he's in Gotham City, tracking down the dummy. And Commissioner Gordon has given him some limited police authority so he can do this. And what I thought was very interesting, I noticed reading this, in the 70s, Commissioner Gordon had been kind of revamped into be, a little more, an effective policeman and a bit younger and a little more, active. Well, I think Gray Morrow must have been used 1950s Batman comics as reference, because this looks like the 1950s paunchy, kind of not too effective Commissioner Gordon.
That's interesting that you're supposed to do something and include a character. You wouldn't look at the latest issue with that.
Well, he's probably like, oh, I've got a Batman. Whatever.
Yeah.
Gray Morrow wasn't doing tons of work for DC either. So this may have been just kind of a one-off job, these backups. Yeah. I can't think of really a lot of work he did for them. At this time, I mean, I still primarily know of him as for his work at the Warren magazines, Creepy and Eerie.
Yeah, these do not look like Marvel or DC. They do look like something else.
Yeah, but it's beautifully drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Gray Morrow is an unsung great in comics, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right. The vigilante goes home and he gets out his gun collection and plays with it, and that's great.
There is a nice panel, a montage of him going through his stuff, and he's reflecting and stuff,
making sure everything works. And so he gets his
motorcycle.
Moped?
His motorcycle.
It's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Looks more like a moped, but it's a motorcycle.
Yeah. But it's big, and anyway.
Yeah. He beats a stoolie. Finds out that the second in command is in this tower, the skyscraper. Of course, he's on the top floor, so he's got to climb up the skyscraper. And
why doesn't he just take the stairs?
They may be guarded.
Oh, okay. And of course, he goes into a room of like spiked walls coming in, but he gets out of that.
And then there's another something like scythes or something going through the air, and he's got to hide from that. And
so he's evading all these death traps.
Yeah, and he finally gets through, and then he finds a guy, and he throws his lasso around him, turns him around in his chair, and he's dead.
And the police are right there, and he's busted. So he's been set up, and uh-oh, what a jam to be in.
Yeah.
So.
Did you read the published-orial?
Yes, I did.
Jeanette wrote it.
Jeanette Kahn, yeah.
And there's a little thing on Julia Schwartz, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about this, or are you just going
to? Well,
then why did you bring it up?
I'm sorry.
I mean, if you're going to mention it, it should be a talking point.
Yeah, I thought you might have something to say about it. So.
Yeah. Well, in the published-orial by Jeanette Kahn, she talks about a meeting with magazine distributors that she and also other people in the biz attended, including Stan Lee. They're talking about the newsstand model, and this is really an important historical footnote because the business model was changing. There was so many return copies on comics that really the comic books barely made a profit.
Right.
And just magazine distributors were very frustrated at comics publishers because, like, look, you'll just put out anything out there, and we have to deal with all the, unsold items. Granted, they get some credit from returns, but it's a problem. Yeah. And they accuse the publishers of, like, hey, why don't you have demographic surveys to put out see what will sell so we don't have to deal with this. And Stan and Jeanette both argued that, look, we want everything to sell, but we have to try new things.
Right.
And if something doesn't, we don't want things to sell poorly. But that's just the way of experimentation. You find things that we have to, find things that work, and if they don't, we either have the choice of kill it or fix it. So we're in just as much of a jam as you are with that. So it's a really interesting thing, and that editorial is very important.
I thought it was interesting that Stan Lee, Marvel and DC were agreeing with each other like that, and she, and there was, I don't know, it was very interesting inside baseball. Which
I mean, and the truth of it is, there was an imaginary rivalry between them. Yes, they are they're competitors, but many people worked for both, and they lived. In the old days, the Marvel and DC offices were like just down the street from each other on Madison Avenue. Right. These people had lunch with each other. They were colleagues for decades. There's a lot of friendships across the board with those people, and a great deal of professional regard for one another. Marvel always played up and referred to DC, in a wink, wink, nudge, nudge way as the distinguished competition.
Yeah, or a brand X.
Yeah. But really, they had a lot of mutual respect.
Yeah. I liked it when they joined, and especially, Superman versus Spider-Man.
Right.
I always enjoyed those.
Those were really fun. But creating those intercompany crossovers are an editorial nightmare. It's a huge headache, and it takes them a long time to produce.
Yeah.
Because they have to get everything right and make sure everybody's satisfied on both ends.
And there's legal issues. And
there are.
Yeah.
But yes, at least the ones, those intercompany crossovers that were produced in the 70s and the early 80s are all pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
The Batman and the Hulk, the two Spider-Man and Superman ones, the X-Men and the Teen Titans. I might be forgetting one, but those are all really fun comic stories. So, but we have one more story in this issue to talk about.
A Man in a Doomsday Mask.
Yeah,
hey, that's me.
Yeah, it's a Wonder Woman backup, and this was written by Jerry Conway, penciled by Jose Delbo, and inked by Vince Colletta.
Okay. We come to a place. Well, the last issue ended up with Baron Blitzkrieg, with General Auchinleck and Winston Churchill captured.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman comes in and lets them go. They don't. She doesn't want them getting killed by the British commandos. Which
right.
Okay. So they go. The Baron goes off and gets into a bomber and flies towards Germany. Wonder Woman gets into her invisible plane. Is it a jet here or just a plane?
They call it the robot plane, but it's the invisible jet. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it wasn't a jet at the first.
In the Golden Age, it wouldn't be a jet. You're very right. So yes, it's the invisible jet if we're talking Silver Age. So that would be Earth 1. But since this is Earth 2, it's the robot plane. But it is still invisible.
So she's following behind, and it's a well-drawn bomber, by the way.
Yeah.
Attacked by the Luftwaffe, ironically. And
why ironically? Because
the Baron has Winston Churchill and General Auchinleck with him.
Oh, okay.
So she knocks the planes down, and the bomber goes down, but everyone lives. They're captured, however, and they get on a train. Oh no, the Baron is almost captured by the Germans, and he beats up their officer, and then
because the guy doesn't accept his authority. So Baron Blitzkrieg assumes command by force.
So they get into a train, and so they get the most important cargo in World War II. And they put it into a train with a bunch of other people. They'd make a special train. They'd kick everybody else out.
Okay.
But they don't. And so Wonder Woman is dressed like a French girl, very fetching, and so, she gets in there, and she overhears the French resistance is going to blow up the train.
Right.
So she's got to fight the French resistance.
Right, and the French resistance, of course, their lead character is Mademoiselle Marie, who appeared frequently in DC's war books. She appeared alongside Sergeant Rock and the folks in the Haunted Tank. She's a great supporting character in those books.
Right. And
I can't wait.
Mademoiselle Marie beats up Wonder Woman.
What?
Ties her down and makes her confess with the golden lasso, and says she's just a French resistance fighter. She's not a superhero. And,
right.
But
the fact that Mademoiselle Marie is appearing in this is to help boost the popularity of the DC's war books. So making her on equal footing with Wonder Woman is an editorial decision and a marketing decision.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous that she would overpower her. You're absolutely correct.
Wonder Woman doesn't do well at all in this.
No.
She's always, should I let him go? I made a mistake. It's sort of like, I might have all been there. I probably would have done better than Wonder Woman. And usually Wonder Woman is super powerful and smart and all this stuff. Now she's making dumb mistakes, and she's not powerful, and letting her get beat up by the French resistance.
Right.
So.
And it's interesting, because Jerry Conway had a pretty lengthy run or a sizable run on Wonder Woman too. But the other ones that we read that he wrote, I don't think she was this ineffective.
Right. Okay. So they separate the car from the rest of the train, and it crashes, and they say Winston Churchill, and that's about it. Okay, it's well, nah.
Wow.
So
How do you really feel about it, Jeff?
you don't want to know.
Okay. So let's talk about our next issue. And man, these, by the way, these are these two issues of World's Finest. These are big, fat comics.
Yes.
This is for during DC's dollar comic line. So you got a lot for your money.
Mm-hmm.
But it saw also, it's like 1977 or 8, paying $1 for a comic book then.
Yeah.
It's also kind of steep.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did have a few issues of the Haunted Tank in GI Combat dollar comics, and those were wonderful. I loved those. So, but anyway, let's talk about this. It's World's Finest number 249, which is the February and March of 1978 issue. And the lead story is called The Vampire of Steel, written by Bob Haney, penciled by Kurt Schaffenberger, and inked by Tex Blaisdell.
Okay. Okay. Bruce Wayne owns a oil rig. And he starts leaking, and he's with Superman. Hey, Supes, can you come and help me with this? Supes comes along, but says, I can't really do anything for you because you're a corporation. This is, which makes, what, he works for a newspaper corporation, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And so Batman says, well, I'll pay your favorite charity twice what I'd pay someone else to fix it. And you do this regularly. So, and Superman says, okay. Which I thought this kind of churlish. It's an oil spill.
You say churlish or childish?
Churlish.
Okay.
All right, maybe childish too.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't hear you incorrectly. So go ahead.
Yeah. So they come to the oil rig, and there's the Albatross, which is an awful name for a ship.
Yeah, it's not exactly a good omen. Ba-dum-ba-da-ba-ba-da-boo.
No, you're right. And,
sorry, I queued up the wrong music in my head.
Oh, okay.
I meant to go da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, okay.
You know, or wah-wah-wah. You know, one of those.
And it's Captain Calamari.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. And he's Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
But he's not French. I guess. He doesn't...
I don't know.
He doesn't seem French, so... Alright, so there's rough water down there. Superman goes down and gets his butt kicked by water. So, and he comes back up and he's in a coma. So Calamari takes his submarine tank down there, and then Batman overhears Superman saying the word magic. And says, uh-oh, it's magic. So Batman puts on his scuba gear, his bat scuba gear.
Now he's Scuba Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for saying that. That's awful.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and magic happens. Oh man, he's drawn into a rock by two hands wearing suits, a suit jacket.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, then he's putting. Oh.
You know why?
Is it the Phantom Stranger doing that?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Phantom Stranger's in the story, by the way.
Yeah.
He hasn't been revealed yet, but okay now. But
all right, we got a gorilla vampire come up.
Of course, a gorilla vampire.
It's a mark of the Trillig. Okay.
Yeah, the Trillig is some weird name for a vampire from wherever Captain Calamari's from.
Yeah, or something.
It's some weird kind of undersea magic spirit vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Phantom Stranger shows up. He saves Batman, and he talks about what's going on. Let's see.
And that's his whole bag. He just shows up out of nowhere
right?
Because he's magic and mystical. Nobody really knows anything about him.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate MacGuffin character, really. He can always be a Deus Ex. Oh, the Phantom Stranger showed up and saved their butts.
Right. So, they tie up Batman because they think he's a vampire.
Right.
And Superman turns into a vampire. And, so they're all worried about that. Oh, goodness. I don't know. It's just sort of... There's some kind of... What is it called?
I thought this story was so stupid.
Yeah, let's just go on. Okay. Well, everything's fine. Calamari was evil. They put a stake in him, and they turned the bad guys into coral, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're not... So they're dead, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually,
So Batman was cured of his temporary vampirism, because it was just like a magic spell or something.
Yeah.
Or Superman, excuse me. And everyone's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let's move on to a better story.
Yeah,
A more interesting one. It's called Will the Costume Make the Hero? Written by Jerry Conway. Penciled by Trevor Von Eden. And inked by Vince Colletta. And, of course, it's Green Arrow backup story. And great splash panel because he's incredulous at someone accusing him of being Batman.
Yep. Yeah. Which, I guess that could work if he's
I think it's a great idea for a story. Especially
no. I'm saying about because I'm thinking that he could take his goatee could be fake.
Yeah.
That would suck though, having a fake goatee all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get hot, and you couldn't go swimming, you couldn't do,
Right. Wearing facial hair as a disguise, especially when that's your superhero outfit, it's ridiculous because it would come off all the time.
Oh yeah, he'd be punched in the chin and.
Or you get into water, like
Right.
How many times you see somebody like they try to drown you and you or whatever.
Yeah. So DeLeon is a guy who ripped off Oliver Queen's money.
Yeah.
And took over his mansion, and he found the Green Arrow cave.
But he found a Batman costume somewhere, and so that makes him think he's Batman. But he found the Arrow cave. But it's funny because Silver Age or Golden Age, Green Arrow, he had the Arrow cave and the Arrow car, and he had a young ward. It was like he was just Batman with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he says, "Oh, I'll go along with it. Yes, I'm the Batman." So Black Canary is captured by bug creature.
Oh, Helgramite.
Yeah, is that how you pronounce it? I had no idea.
Yeah, Helgramite, and they are the Dobson fly larvae. And if you look at them, they're pretty horrific looking in real life. I've seen one once in real life when I was in outdoor school. But yeah, Helgramite's this interesting insect-themed villain, and he's got powers too. So
he's got this scheme.
Yeah.
All right, a businessman commits a crime, so he goes to Helgramite, and he's given a new, younger body. And,
okay.
This is from the movie Seconds with Rock Hudson. Really good movie.
I have not seen that movie. What's the time period? 70s?
Late 60s.
I'm interwebbing it. Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay. So they're going to do the same thing with Black Canary, but Black Canary's in this tube, where the transformations happen. And she does a canary cry, and it breaks it open, and she gets away, she fights, but it doesn't work. She gets her butt kicked. The trick with this transformation thing is that it doesn't transform the older bad businessmen into young businessmen. It transforms them into dead businessmen.
Woo! So he just takes their money and kills them, basically.
Right.
Classic.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
Well, that's a pretty smart plan.
Yeah, actually, Batman looks pretty good with a goatee.
Does he?
Yeah, nice contrast. So we have Green Batman is looking for Black Canary and is really concerned. And
Seconds came out in 1966.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you were right. Go ahead.
Yeah. That movie is horrifying in a lot of ways. So
okay.
And yeah. Okay. Now, Rock Hudson's a good actor.
Yes.
He fooled a lot of people.
Yes. Let's just go on.
All right. It's fun that he was complaining about the cape.
Oh yeah.
Because he's not used to a cape, and none of Batman's utility belt gizmos are labeled. So he's going. Now, I thought that was a pretty good.
Well, I mean, can you imagine? Of course, Batman just memorizes where he puts stuff,
so
that if somebody steals his utility belt, they can't just make use of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the bad guys, hey, what are you doing with a beard?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, so DeLeon was going to get transformed, and they decide. Then he decides not to, and the bad guys are after him because he squelched on a deal.
Okay.
Black Canary is allowed to call Green Arrow and to meet in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Green Arrow comes there, gets in a big fight, beats up everybody, and cannot figure out. But it was a trap, so no one knows where Black Canary is. So he does some sleuthing, and it's kind of the sleuthing of. You got a pad of paper, and you write down something on the front, the top page, and you rip it off. There's an impression of what you wrote on the bottom, on the next page. So you take a pencil and make a writing, and which is.
It's in so many TV shows. Yeah.
Man, I knew
I'm
that
sure
when I was in the
Rockford
fifth
did
grade.
it.
Yeah. You know, so hey, I'll do some sleuthing too, and that was his sleuthing. And I mean, it works and all that, but
Yeah.
what does he not do any sleuthing at all?
I don't know, Jeff.
So. Okay. All right. Black Canary is mad that Green Arrow is so protective of her. So.
Yeah, she's totally captured by a supervillain and needs him to save her. Yeah.
But she gets out, and let's see, and here's another big fight. Green Arrow figures out where the bad guy is. He comes and fights him, and beats up, and is going to go rescue Black Canary, but she's already rescued herself, and Black Canary is mad that Green Arrow thinks that she needed to be rescued.
Right. Well, okay. They are so up and down, though, in their relationship, and it makes for good reading.
Yeah.
And it's a nice change of pace, especially for DC, that things aren't always just hunky dory for them.
Right.
So it works fine for me.
Yeah. I don't read a lot of them, so I mean, it was just interesting. So,
Yeah.
Cool Superman movie report. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, because it was a big deal that movie was happening, and so it's a little update on.
Yeah, it's the first time that they spent a lot of money on a comic book movie, and
You're right.
It was really good. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, no, the first two Superman movies, which they filmed back to back, are terrific.
Yeah. This next one, Beware the Creeper, Moon Lady, and the Monster.
Yeah.
You're gonna give the.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah.
I really wish you just let me do the title.
Okay.
That's kind of my thing. But yeah, Moon Lady and the Monster, the Creeper, yay, or something. But anyway, it's written and drawn by Steve Ditko.
Mm-hmm.
So at least the art is classic all the way.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Creeper fan, but I really enjoyed this. This is my favorite thing I've read. This issue. This episode.
Yeah. Well, that's not a hard feat, but
yeah.
But
I'm damning with faint praise. And
yeah, but no, this is really fun, and anytime we get to look at Ditko, it's a treat.
Mm-hmm. All right. The Creeper works at, well, not as a Creeper. What's his name?
Jack Ryder. He's a crusading newspaper, or he's a crusading reporter. I think he's a television reporter.
Right.
But it's so funny because so many of Ditko's characters are crusading reporters.
Mm-hmm.
The Question is a crusading reporter.
Well, Peter Parker kind of is a
he's a
photographer.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, crusading as in, like, he's using his articles to affect social change and stuff.
Yeah.
And same with, I can't remember the first name, but the guy, Grain, who was the secret identity of Mr. A.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Mr. A is great.
Yeah. The reporter's a good job for somebody who's a superhero. It's a good alter ego.
Oh, yeah. And because you can know when troubles happen. Oh, cool, this is a job for me.
And, you're not... he's a TV reporter, which I guess is better than Superman's news anchor. Where you're anchored in front of the camera.
And then Superman's always trying to like find a way to like sneak off.
Yeah.
Well, Jack Ryder can like go on his adventures when he's not recording stuff.
I just had this idea. There's no reason for a Superman to be a news anchor. No. I mean, it's not just a bad idea. There's no reason for it. And there's a reason to be a reporter, but there's no reason for it to be a news anchor. There's no good strategy. Oh, be a news anchor. You won't get any more news than if you weren't.
Exactly. But being a reporter is you got an excuse to be not at the office, and if you're hunting down a story, you're going to stumble upon crimes for you as a superhero to solve. So that works really good. Jack Ryder is kind of a crusading reporter who is on television.
Right.
Okay, so he gets to be, what was the guy who did the movie Good Night and Good Luck is based on?
Edward R. Murrow.
Yeah. Jack Ryder is supposed to be kind of an Edward R. Murrow character. So, and also, it's just a good plan. But I think being the news anchor and having to sneak away to go solve giant world crises like Superman does is ridiculous. But Jack Ryder, the Creeper is more of a street level hero. So it's like, okay, as soon as I'm off air, I'll just go and hit the scene of the crime. So
and I don't think you have to be live all the time. You can be live at this time. I think most of the time you taped it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Jack Ryder, because he's an Edward R. Murrow type, he taped his show. It wasn't always live, I'm sure. So, like, you can do the taping in a morning or an afternoon, and the rest of your time you can be out solving crimes.
Right.
This is far less ludicrous. So
yeah.
So anyway, there is a TV horror host, the Moon Lady.
The Monster Chiller Horror Theater.
Yeah, and in days of long ago, every town, their local affiliate, they had somebody who worked at the TV station was the horror host, and they all had hosted the late night horror or science fiction movie show.
Yeah, I never saw them. I saw Elvira. That's it. And she was kind of.
We had one in Portland, Oregon. His name was
Rusty Nails.
No, I don't know about Rusty Nails, but Ives. Rusty Nails is a TV clown who is the basis for Krusty the Clown on The Simpsons. But no, something Ives, and he also, related to Burl Ives and the girl I went to school with. But he had a horror show, and there was another one too, a gal, even earlier than him. But every town, every major city had one. Throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s, it was a real big thing.
They had these cheap movies.
Yeah,
and
because you bought a big packages of these movies.
Right.
A lot of them are in the public domain too, so you're not having to pay royalties or anything. It's a cheap way to get good ratings.
And I think you're supposed to have original programming.
Sure. So
you have, by having a little bit of a host, it makes it original programming. Not the whole thing, but you get. I think that's why.
Here's what it is: they fill out a block, and every time, how movies they'll break up, they'll have a commercial breaks. But anything that's not going to fill out whatever that time slot, that you have a certain length of the horror host, maybe having a skit in the middle, and definitely opening and closing the showing of this film. And it's a fun, formulaic thing, and they do a lot of gags and.
Yeah. SCTV did wonderful Count Floyd made fun of it. And he was always getting these awful movies that was not horrifying at all.
Yeah.
3D House of Beef and 3D House of Representatives.
It's so funny because I didn't see SCTV as a child. I saw it as an adult.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, the character... Martin Short's character of Ed Grimley that was on SCTV and Saturday Night Live had an animated show, the Something Adventures of Ed Grimley, and there was
mental adventures,
something like that. But anyway, there was at the very end of the show or a sequence during the show, they would have a live action Count Floyd's thing, and that's how I knew about Count Floyd's super mystery horror theater or whatever.
That's scary.
Joe Flaherty,
So,
But what's going on with the creeper?
So, all right, there's Moon Girl. She is being threatened by two things: the POWS. Let's see, protectors of Watcher sensibilities. They're trying to keep everything moral and TV.
Yeah.
And by the Monster.
Who is
A monster.
well.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
So she's doing really well, and the network likes her, or the TV station likes her.
Yeah.
And they're trying to keep her safe. And what is Ryder's girlfriend's name?
I don't remember, and it doesn't matter.
Actually, it does. I like the character.
Okay.
She's one of the few female characters, and she's sassy, and I'm not.
Oh, that's right. Because the monster is this guy that's out to get the Moon Girl. They dress up Jack Ryder's girlfriend to look like the Moon Girl as a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Now let's put you, honey. Can we put you in danger?
Right. Yeah, and the monster goes for her, and
yeah, but it flushes out the killers, and the Moon Girl's safe, and the creeper, of course, comes along and beats him up.
Yeah, and he escapes.
Yeah.
So we find out that the monster is a janitor.
Yeah, and he formerly had a partnership with the Moon Girl, but she, I don't know, he got cut out of the deal or whatever, and so he's wanting revenge.
Yeah. And it's, it's pretty cool. I didn't expect to like this, but I liked it a lot. It's really cool. Really well done.
Yeah.
But the Moon Girl is defeated and destroyed by ratings. They went bad.
Yeah, but the creeper did catch the monster and beat him up and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So one more story for this issue and this episode, and it's Wonder Woman in A Fire in the Sky, written by Jerry Conway, penciled by Mike Vosberg, and inked by Bob Smith. And Wonder Woman teams up with Sergeant Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock of Easy Company. So,
and he's trying to kill Wonder Woman because he is
mesmerized by some hoodoo by Dr. Psycho. Yeah. Now, Dr. Psycho is a classic Wonder Woman villain. He's this little dwarf who manipulates ectoplasm, which is not interesting at all.
Yeah. So Wonder Woman beats up Sergeant Rock, and he's out of his spell, so he's back to normal. Really impressed with Wonder Woman. So
also, space aliens are involved in the story.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And V1 rockets. There's a V1 rocket bomb factory. The rest is Easy Company, which is in the comics are just a regular bunch of infantrymen who are very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here they're sent on a mission, and we haven't. It's before D-Day, which was yesterday. So there's
historically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was June 6th, 1942. That's right.
44.
44, excuse me.
And
yeah, that's
they're
right.
here at 42. That's where you got the number from.
Right.
And they're sending these regular commandos are highly trained people. They just don't send Easy Company. You send commandos. Something. So, all right. So the Easy Company is turned into by the bad guys into these hulking brutes.
Yeah.
And they fight.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. We have a wonderful little origin story, and Dr. Psycho.
Is the origin of Dr. Psycho?
Yeah. Okay. He goes to prison, and he learns. I guess prison libraries had the Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon?
Necronomicon, excuse me.
Necronomicon.
Yeah. Sorry, I never knew how to pronounce that. And I knew how to pronounce it and I messed up. So, but the ridiculousness of having, hey, let's give these crazy people this book on how to raise the dead and everything. So.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a big occult section in the prison library. But anyway, Dr. Psycho studies on how to manipulate ectoplasm or whatever.
Yeah, and he hates women, big time.
Yeah.
Because his fiancée lied to protect her lover and put him in prison.
Yeah.
All right, back in England, the generals decide to bomb the factory, even though Easy Company and Wonder Woman's there, because they're worried about England, and I didn't think this is very necessary, but apparently so. So they capture Wonder Woman in Iraq captures a alien. They explain what happens. Very nice future society drawings here.
Yeah.
And here comes
on the alien's homeworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool ship too.
Yeah.
Easy Company in the form of big hulking brutes attack, and Wonder Woman takes care of them. So,
she nursed him back to health. Oh no, she beats him up.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Dr. Psycho had been allied with these aliens, but they realize he's evil because he wants to hurt people.
right.
And so they bail on him.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman saves the day.
Right. And they're just the blonde chick who's doing something, and then
What kind of something?
some kind of. And now she's got a circle around her head. It looks like she's doing some kind of hypnosis.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember who she is or what significance she has to this story.
She's beaten up a Wonder Woman, so I guess that's important. So,
Okay.
And now then they're bombed by the RAF and
What does RAF stand for?
Royal Air Force.
Oh, okay.
But they escape in the in the spaceship.
The aliens do.
Aliens, Wonder Woman, and Sergeant Rock and Easy Company.
Oh, well, that's fun.
And
Okay.
that was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was a decent combination of those two, Sergeant Rock and Wonder Woman. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a kind of a cool idea. I mean,
Like even snazzier and a better villain.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like whenever they try to bring Sergeant Rock meet Superman or Sergeant Rock meet Batman, it always feels extra contrived for me.
Yeah. Also, Sergeant Rock is very, very gritty.
Yeah.
Almost
I mean, the
ridiculously
appeal
so.
of Sergeant Rock is it's so gritty and kind of realistic. I'm kind of sick of grim and gritty in modern comics, but it's refreshing in a Silver and Bronze Age context, and that's what was one of the great strengths of Sergeant Rock and the Haunted Tank.
Everybody looked dirty.
Yeah, but you put in brightly colored superheroes, and it kind of takes away what's special about Sergeant Rock.
Is there a dirty superhero?
Like,
You know,
unkempt?
unkempt and not colorful and clean looking. I'm trying to think of.
I mean, superhero. I mean, I can think of characters like Conan or the Punisher, but
Yeah.
but I don't know.
And without there was a few in the for crying out loud.
I mean,
the Watchers.
Wolverine, Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Dog kept me up. But yeah.
What's that book with Jesus in it? The Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on, man.
Okay.
So,
Hey. My apologies. But it was kind of cool. There's a few good stories here. The Superman stories were disappointing,
yeah.
but they always do in the 70s. They're just ridiculous plots. The Wonder Woman we just read, it was too much in there.
Yeah, and we've mentioned that before. I think this is a problem. They're cramming an awful lot of plot into not very long stories.
Yeah.
And it's like, these need room to breathe.
Yeah. And too much and too little are both bad things.
Yeah, I mean, but cramming too much plot into too little page count is just a mess, and it's hard to talk about it with any real care or anything. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time on the Funny Pages.